Hello everybody, Pink Angel here. I'm doing this video strictly for the QuikTrip people. Now, I have not been to any of your stores recently because of the rain and other things. Tomorrow, being Monday, I will probably be out and about. And depending on where I go, what I do, I might stop by a store of yours, but as a female, I want to assure everyone that when I go to a quick trip, I'm not there with a camera hanging out for 45 or 2 or 3 hours. Now, I've talked to corporate. I think it was sometime last month, not that long ago actually, and the security guard at the 7th Avenue and Indian School store over in the neighborhood told me I could not record. The day that I was there, I went in to get products from the store, a drink and some snacks, and I was walking back to my vehicle while I was recording, but I didn't stand around and just go around and stick my camera in people's faces. That's not what I do. As a female, I won't ever I don't ever talk to anybody. I just walk around like the rest of them do while I film. And I'm not there to cause an issue or to make people wonder what's going on or to, if they come to me and something did go down, but simply because I was filming, then I would have that on video showing what I was doing before and what as things led up to that, although I don't want that to go that route. So I just want to let everybody at QuikTrip and corporate and, I know there are people out there with cameras that stand around and hang for 3 or 4 hours or more, or even in the late evening. I don't do that. However, the person I talked to, the corporate person over in Tempe, had advised me that, I could if I wanted to. My statement was, yeah, I'm sure I probably could, but I don't want to do that because most people think that's suspicious. Now, if I had a vehicle, I was having car trouble or something like that, and I might be there for a while because we'd have to figure out if we could fix it to where we could get it home or have it towed back to where we're at. So, but I know a lot of people out there with cameras get up in the cops' faces and they challenge. I don't do that, but anywhere that I go, I'm always filming. And besides, let's face it, everywhere you go when you leave your house, you're being recorded. And with AI coming out and drones and everything like that, even though there are certain things you can't do with drones or are not supposed to do as far as filming and where they can go versus where they can't go, I don't have a drone, so I don't know that much about them. I've seen them. Some are cool, some are, just plain. But I want everyone at QuikTrip Corporate to know that I am not, when I go to your store, we usually go in and get our products and we leave. Now, I am physically disabled. I have a prosthetic on my right leg. And as a woman, when I go to your stores, sometimes people park in places where they should not. They don't have a insignia on their plate. They don't have anything on their dash stating that they're disabled. And they have no placard, but they feel the need to park there. I'm not sure if it's because they don't want to walk the extra miles, if they were to park further down, like on the either behind the store if there's parking behind the store, or on the side of the store, or further on down in front of the store. But if they're just in there to get a candy bar, there shouldn't be any reason for them to park that close if they're not physically disabled. I know that there are disabilities you cannot physically see, but ARS 2883 and ARS 2884 state that if you don't have a insignia on your plate or a placard, you're not supposed to park there. The fine is $500 to $600, I believe. It went up. It used to be a little bit less than that, and now it's currently gone up. Most recently, I guess. Now, I have never seen a police officer ever give somebody a ticket. If I ever seen that, I'd probably believe it. Now, and I'm not saying that the QuikTrip lady, the corporate lady I talked to was wrong. She stated that she's seen police give tickets for that. Whether or not that's true, she might be just feeding me some false information to keep my hopes up. But I've never seen anybody enforce that on QuikTrip property. Although, according to the ADA regulations and the statute, there's no reason for anybody to park there if they don't have that insignia or that placard in the window. Now, currently, the vehicle I ride in, I have a placard and I have a plate on it. And I have a plate on other things that I use to get around the city with that are, they can be driven on the main roads and the highway. That way I can't get in trouble for parking in a handicap. If I didn't have a handicap placard, even being handicapped, I probably wouldn't park in that space because I wouldn't have a insignia on my plate or a placard. But a lot of people, if you confront them with that, it can go south very quickly. So my videos are for education. They're not for trying to get information or sneak something in or use it to I don't get paid for my videos. My videos on YouTube are not monetized. I just make videos that people like or talk about things in my YouTube that people might enjoy listening to or whatever the case may be. Yes, I have a lot of haters. They call me bro, they call me dude, they call me sir, which I'm not. I'm very much female, but I don't show myself on camera because people like to make fun, and that's happened before. So for my security purposes, I don't, if somebody else films me, there ain't much I can do about it. If I'm in public, what can I do? I can get mad and be another female Karen, but why do that? So I never talk to anybody when I'm at the QuikTrip store. If I do talk to anybody, it's probably the staff. I might say hello. I might ask a quick question. That's it. Now, my favorite store is 24th Street in McDowell, which is right next. It's at an intersection, part of an intersection actually, next to a U-Haul, which is across from Wendy's right there. And I don't get to go to that one all the time. It depends on what area of city, what town we're in. But we always make sure, usually when we're out, we stop at one store. But I'm always filming. I go in, I get my stuff. I don't talk to anybody. I don't even talk to anybody when I'm in there, other than the staff. If that's why I decide. My spouse is usually with me, so They do the majority of the speaking, um, if they choose to speak. But so when I film somebody's vehicle, it's not to like use it for bad. It's for education that this person is parked in a handicap at your store that does not have a plate or placard, which is wrong, by the way. There's no reason for anybody to park there. And I believe that most people who do that do not have a heart. They just don't care. My question to those people would be, if you had someone in your family who was disabled, would you feel the same way if that was what was happening in your family? Would you still feel the same way and park in a handicap, even though you know you're not supposed to and whatnot, blah, blah, blah? Now, I still think, I know this probably won't happen, but I still think as a female, a 52-year-old female, I think that it's like everything else. If you run a stoplight and a cop sees you, they're going to pull you over. Even if you accidentally run it and not meant to. It'll probably also depends on your attitude toward police too. I still think that people that park in a handicap, even though they're wherever they're going inside and come out, they should still get a ticket. But a lot of law enforcement will say, well, there's not much we can do. They parked there, but they're not parked there now. It doesn't matter. If you were, let's say you park in a parking meter and it's not after 5 o'clock somewhere in Phoenix, and you don't put money in there, I'm sure you would get a ticket. I'd be shocked if a person didn't, because if you're parking in a meter that you're supposed to pay for, that you're not paying for, and if you don't get a ticket immediately, I'm sure you'll probably get one in the mail for parking and not paying the parking meter, either by credit card or by, money if it takes money. Unfortunately, I don't know of any of them that take cash, but they do take, quarters. I think some take change. So I think there should be some kind of, I'm trying to think of the word here. Give me a minute. I think there should be some kind of disciplinary action for parking in a handicap, because to some I've talked to, it's like parking in a parking meter, not paying the money and parking there for an hour, hour and a half. And at some point, the person who takes care of that parking area, the meter maid or whoever, is going to go around and check that, and you are going to get a ticket. So why can't they implement that for parking? If you have a plate or a placard, if you have a placard from your window, or you have something on your dash showing that, or a insignia on your plate, okay, you can't be ticketed because you have that, and you might be disabled, or someone you might be driving around is disabled. That's fine. But if you don't have that, I think there should be some kind of disciplinary action for that. And I'm sure that if, police officers wanted to, they could enforce that. I think most of them just don't want to deal with it, quotation marks, because they don't think it's a very high priority. But I still think if the ADA policies or rules, whatever they're called, they should be enforced. Now you could ask somebody to leave or move over into another spot if they're willing to, and but if they refuse to and just ignore you, then they should get, there should be some kind of disciplinary action to that person, the owner of that vehicle. And like I said, if I did not have, as a woman, if I didn't have a plate with the insignia or a placard in the vehicle I was in, driving a ride, a passenger, I probably out of respect would park in that. Even though I'm physically disabled, the statutes say that you got to have that in order to park there. You can't park there. I've seen a lot of veterans park in handicap that may or may not have been a handicap. Some of them are not physically handicapped, but they think because they have the veteran plates that counts as being able to give them permission to park in a handicap space. And the statutes here for Phoenix say that you can't do that. It states that you must have from the MVD or the DMV a insignia on your plate or a placard. And in order to get that, you have to go to a doctor. Doctor has to sign off on it. You have to take it back to the DMV, and they give you your tag. Not right away. They give you a tag, and then I think they send the disability placard in the mail to you, and that's the way you do that. Buying stuff off of Amazon, I've seen people do this. Buy stuff off of Amazon, stick it on your vehicle. Well, that's not, Amazon is not the DMV in Phoenix. So that is not a valid symbol because from what I read, it has to come from the DMV in Phoenix, Arizona. So you got to have that through the DMV in order to park, according to what I read on their website. Yeah, a lot of people would say there's exceptions, like you could drop somebody off. And that's true. You can park in a handicap, even if you don't have plates, if you're dropping somebody off, but it has to be very quick. It also states that you cannot go into the store and assist them and leave your car in that parking space. So if you're a cab, like Yellow Cab or the Spanish cab companies that drive the little Toyota vehicles, and or any cab for that matter. Now, I'm not just picking on any specific one, but any cab that pulls up there that thinks they can do that. The DMV website says there is no reason to park there. You can park there for like 3 or 4 minutes to drop somebody off, and then you have to either leave or move to another parking. Yeah, that's if you're not going to go inside and buy anything inside the store or the business that you're dropping off at. So I've seen a lot of cab people pull up in like QuikTrip, and they come out with food. Now there's nobody in their cab, and I've been at some QuikTrips long enough. When I'm there, I stick around for at least 30 minutes, and I just kind of like watch like. And I've seen cabs pull up, park in a handicap, go inside and get food, yet they had no passenger, and abuse the disabled parking space. So no one's looking to get in a verbal or physical altercation over it. And so when I film something, and wherever I go, it's not just QuikTrip, it's anywhere I go. And if I see somebody without a placard, I will take a few minutes and show the vehicle, show that they don't have the necessary deals on their vehicle. It's not to start anything, get arrested, whatever. I mean, if anything, people that park in those that get mad simply because you have a camera and they don't like their car or something being filmed, those are the people that need to pay the fines. Those are the people that need to be, I don't know if it's an arrestable offense, but if they were to try to get someone else arrested, that's disabled over it and they made it an issue, well, they should be arrested because they're committing the violation. That's just my thought, but doesn't mean anyone's right. All I'm saying to QuikTrip employees and staff and corporate headquarters is that it is not. I had a security guard over in the neighborhood where I sometimes go for my pharmacy over there and tell me I couldn't film. Now, it is a First Amendment right. It's constitution protected to film. You can even film police officers. Now, there is a rule that I'm going to get clarified on it. It says that police can arrest you for filming them. But then when you go on Google and ask, are you allowed to film police? It says yes, as long as you're not interfering with their stop, as long as you're not impeding their movements. In which case, when I film, I'm nowhere near them. And if I am, I don't. If they were to move forward, I would move to the side and let them go by. I'm not trying, because people who do that kind of thing are just, if they're going to impede that, they're going to probably end up in jail. And half of them probably don't care. But, yeah. So I just want everybody to know at QuikTrip stores, my videos are educational purposes only. I don't stand there and film for any more than 30 minutes, if even that. So now, if someone was filming and approached, which happens a lot, there are those like myself that don't approach anybody about it, because as a woman, I think that in this day and age, anybody can get physically hurt. Somebody is always looking to beat somebody up, do harm, and all I do when I go out, and I don't go out a lot. It's not that I never get out. Being physically disabled has something to do with that, but I still get out when I can, especially when it's nice out and it's not raining. It's nice to get out and enjoy the weather. So, and sometimes I film just because the building is really cool. There's architecture in Phoenix around there that some of the architecture is pretty cool, and it's not something that most people would think about. And so I'm not there to scope the building out for any kind of threats to blow it up or nothing like that. That's not it. Most people would probably do that, but we don't. So I just want to ensure that QuikTrip corporate headquarters and the staff, um, you know, just want to let y'all know I'm not there to cause any problems. I do buy stuff there. I actually think QuikTrip has better products than some of the other gas stations like Circle K and every place else. Um, Circle K's been around for a while, and they're a dime a dozen to me. But QuikTrip has the best quality of everything, and that's kind of why I think of QuikTrip as like the Rolls Royce of gas stations. It's kind of like some things could be expensive in there depending on what you buy. You might be able to get the same thing cheaper at the store or another gas station, but I guess it just depends on if you want the best quality when you're buying gas, or food products or whatever. If you like the lower end stuff for lower price, it may not be that great, but it might be. I don't know. But yeah. So that and right now they have a drink there I like, so it's sugar free. So I usually get that. And so yeah. And sometimes I will talk to staff. Now I know most of the time they are very 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 busy. But sometimes I will ask to speak to a manager just to say hello, just to say hi. I'm not there to keep them from doing their job because they got work to do. But I just want to take a few, 5 or 10 minutes, talk to them real quick, and that let them go back to work. And I will tell them, well, I want you to get back to work. I said, and very, very polite. I know you have work to do, so I won't keep you because I don't want to keep them from doing their job. But 5 or 10 minutes talking to the staff, maybe just to you know have a short conversation. Because some of the staff are very polite. There's people on our own staff that are also discriminatory toward LGBTQ people. I've had that happen over at 7th Avenue in Indian School a long time ago, and I talked to a guy in corporate who happened to be part of the LGBT community and lived in that area somewhere, I don't know where. And because of the experience that I experienced from the staff at QuikTrip, I was given a gift card with amount of a very high amount to buy things in the store, which I did do. I had enough to buy gas. Uh, One night I bought 3 pizzas from their deal, and I had that for about a week. I think I had enough on my card to cover things I bought. So it was basically them telling me, because of that, we're going to give you this. I didn't expect them to do that. Basically, what I want people to do is to learn kindness toward the LGBT individuals that come in there, or anybody that they may not think is what accepted by a society. But when you have employees that start acting up like that, especially QuikTrip employees, I think that needs to be addressed. I know that Hitler has made it legal to discriminate, but I would hope that people like QuikTrip and other places that I go that I know for a fact are LGBT friendly, even though they could discriminate, they're not doing it. I've talked to hospitals in the area staff. They're telling me they're not following that particular law either, or that executive order for the current administration, and that's good. They don't need to. So, that's a good thing. So I just want to, before I close this out, I just want people at QuikTrip to know, at least the staff and the corporate headquarters, that I'm not there to cause trouble. My videos are strictly educate. They're not to get any information. They're not to sneak on people and watch them to see what they're doing, to follow them home. I don't know. While I'm there, I do film, and people do freak out when you pull out a camera because they want to know what you're doing. And then it can get physical from there, verbal or physical. But so just trying to let you know that that's what I kind of do on there. It's not meant for anything else to make money off of or nothing like that. It's also to help the employees there that are working there. I know they have cameras inside the store, and they're probably great cameras. I'm not saying they're not, but sometimes it helps to have another video from another angle other than where the cameras are at the store, inside or out. So it's like a second pair of eyes, Whether the video quality is good or not, it depends on what kind of camera you have. I don't know if you have a GoPro, if whatever is out there, but I think GoPro is probably one of the best cameras. Of course, if it's hot out, it overheats and shuts down. That's the bad thing about when you're in extreme heat. Or anywhere when it's hot, it does that. But when it's not hot and it's cool, and sometimes that won't happen unless it's humid. Anyway, I'm closing this out. Hope you all enjoyed this video. 52-year-old female here. That is it for now. And remember, hate is never holy. Pink Angel out.